Oh, damn it, no. Son of a...
Oh, man.
It turns off so quickly. Okay, there. Damn it! Damn you, Honda!
And Jillian's car, it goes out for 15 minutes. This one, 15 seconds.
Look at this. It's on, and then... Crafty Honda engineers.
Welcome to the new midnight screenings car. This way you can't get mad at us for our opinions if you can't see who we are.
No, yeah, I don't know which one of us it is. Wait, no.
I'll give Jillian a call. Much better.
There we go.
Let's go to the hot car. Welcome back to Hot Car Reviews.
That could be a show.
That could go really...
Not a review of, like, really cool, like, sports cars. Like, literally a review of cars that are incredibly warm.
That could go really south really fast, because someone will be like, what? I'm going to check me out some of that Hot Carl reviews. No, that's how you do a Hot Carl. So we're here to talk about Sharknado 2 with the best cameo from Sharknado 2.
Duh.
Like, no shit.
No, I mean, yeah, really, that was... I didn't know if it was going to get cut or not, you know what I mean? Because I didn't think it got cut, you know, but no, it was there, it was awesome. Did you see the promo, too? Like, they did a little,
yes.
Someone did a promo where they used it, too. I had no idea that was there until someone at work said, you're on one of their commercials.
I knew you were in that part because you showed that part to me when the promos came up, and it's great when that part comes up in the movie, knowing it's you looking out the window at sharks raining down from the sky. I didn't know you were also in it later until, I mean, I did today when I watched it, because I just saw this for the first time today, and but I was looking for you because I saw a still shot of you from the scene where the sharks are raining down and people are beating and fighting the sharks at the end of the movie, because when Sharknado 2 premiered, we were at... There was some midnight screening that was going on, and we were at some movie that night.
Was it Into the Storm? But no.
That was actually when I actually called you that day. Like, I have to go see Into the Storm. Do you want to do our Sharknado video today? That would have been great for people like, I don't like that Sharknado. They don't do disaster movies seriously anymore. Oh, yeah, look at the video right above. It's Into the Storm. So when I got home that night, there were a lot of messages on my Twitter account. Like, did I just see Ryan in Sharknado 2? And then one person on my Facebook page actually put a still shot of it. It was like, was this Ryan? And it was you, like, with your, like that, like, yep, that's it. What was... So that, when you shot it with the, in the room when you're looking, that was a hotel room? Yeah,
that was actually the direct, Anthony Ferrante is a friend of mine. He and I have worked together on a couple of online magazines many years ago. We worked for the same production company. Really great guy. I've helped him out on a bunch of projects. We did a bunch of viral videos. The para-homeless activity thing we did together. Yeah, that was one of the first ones we did.
Yeah.
Great guy. So he got the first Sharknado, and after we did we talked about that and how, like, he asked me if I could go out, and I was like, it's Sharknado. You know, and so this time he was like, okay, you know, I because of the way that the movie's being shot, I couldn't actually be on the crew. But he says, if you want to come out and be an extra, you know, I can put you in the background in a bunch of scenes. If you just want to come and hang out on set for a few days, you know, I can.
How about
Fuck yeah! I'm on my way running to the airport. No car, it'll slow me down. So yeah, I was all about it. So I flew out and met him in Manhattan. And yeah, that scene where the sharks are falling was, I was helping him pack up some of the equipment, and some of the stuff that they were using kind of for second unit and some B unit stuff was just a little Canon 7D. So he had his Canon 7D, and I was helping him load up stuff from his room to move out that day. And he said, "Hey, just go stand by the window." I was like, "What?" He says, go stand by the window and pretend you see sharks falling down." He's like, "I got." And
then sharks fell down.
And then literally sharks fell down. There was no CG. It was
actually a documentary.
It was the craziest damn thing. A blimp full of sharks ruptured somewhere over,
It was practical effects.
Shark blimp.
They threw sharks off of the Empire State Building.
PETA was furious. No, and so that's why, like, I mean, if you really look at me, like, my hair's kind of disheveled, like, I'm not wearing, like, I'm wearing just dark clothing because that's what it was, February in New York, so I was wearing a lot of, and so it's like, you see this, there's all these, actors that have been primped and proper, and there's this dude with bad hair, sure,
Yeah, it looked like when you showed up when you killed the shark, it looked like you were a little disheveled a little bit.
Well, because we were shooting in February, and actually the battle sequence took place in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
And so that sequence, it was freezing.
Yeah.
Again, we shooting in February, and of course the movie's supposed to take place in summer. Yeah. So I had, I wasn't really expecting to be one of the extras of that day. I was just kind of there to hang out. I might have been like in the background or something. I was like, yeah, cool, I'll just be in the background or whatever. But he says, no, I want you to actually be, get a weapon and be part of the battle. And, at the time I had my big heavy coat and I had a hat. I had a sock hat on. It was like, because it was freezing, So that's why I took all that stuff off and I look all, I'm pale as hell, and I'm pasty and I got, no makeup and my hair's all messed up and everything like that.
It's great when you see the still shot, though.
Yeah.
When you see the still shot, though, because that was the first time I saw that clip, was the still shot. Because, it looked like, I saw that and my first thought was like, that looks like a really rough day on set. Ryan's a little disheveled in that picture.
Well, yeah, everybody else is like, actors that were paid to be there, and be, like, oh, we called the school of acting, and like, there's a lot of like, stage combat students that were there with their weapons and everything. But the story of my weapon, which of course was the trident.
Yeah.
Because that's what, casual New Yorkers would have had handy.
Yeah.
Was a trident. Well, the story behind that is, I was staying with Anthony while he was planning out some shots for that, and this guy came up to him and said, hey, I was hired to be a background actor today. I run a karate studio and I have a ton of weapons. Yeah. Do you want to see them? And like, I'm, the hell with rank or whatever. I said, fuck yeah, let's see what you got. So we go over to the back of his trunk. He opens it up, and actually his trunk is one of the ones you see briefly in the movie. You see like trunks open up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's the one where the guy pulls the rug off and there's literally just a ton of weapons.
Oh, okay,
That was actually the back of his car. Those were actually all of his weapons that he brought. He brought machetes, katanas. I don't know if I ever caught the guy's name, but you see him. He's one of the guys holding 2 machine guns, shooting up in the air. It's in that big long sequence. That's the guy. He was an awesome guy. And so, like, he shows all the weapons, and I see a trident, and I'm like, okay, you want me to be in this scene? I'm getting the trident. That is my weapon. I don't give a damn. Other people had like a golf club or an umbrella or a board with a nail in it. I'm having a fucking trident.
Well, it was great because my buddy Alex Zajowski did a video on Sharknado too, and he knew you were in it. He knew you were in it, so when he was putting the video together, I think right after it premiered, I think he wrote to me and said, "I know Ryan's in the movie. Do you know where he's at?" I hadn't seen the movie yet, so I said, "I don't, but I have a still shot of it." It was a still shot that guy gave me. I go, "Here's the still shot," and he writes back and goes, "Oh, right on, thanks. I actually know exactly where that is." And then so he does the video and then mispronounced your name.
Oh, funny. No, yeah, it was great. It was hilarious because, I mean, and again, like initially it was just going to be like, I'm in the background, you know, if you scan quickly, you might see, there he is, in the background with a big stupid smile on my face or something like that. No, it was he pulled a couple extras aside, like he had him kind of audition to do like a war face, to get the best like scream of hacking their machete or whatever. So he picked a couple people. And he says, "Okay, you two, and then Ryan, you're gonna do it with the trident." I was like,
my character wouldn't use that.
No, so yes, I take the did the trident and did the thing, and I was like, okay, well, they're never gonna use it.
Are you credited on there at all? Like.
The only credit I got was a special thanks.
Okay.
Because you don't really credit background actors.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, background actors don't usually get like a credit on a movie. So, but because I was there and like I kind of acted as his assistant, I guess you could say, like unofficially, that's kind of what I did.
I guarantee you, Trident guy will pop up on IMDb.
I really hope it does.
I guarantee you it will.
I really hope it does. I want my most known for thing to be Trident guy.
that's the thing. Like, because in the past several years, a lot of us have got to do some cool things, whether like, you know, Jake and his con stories, other people's stories and stuff like that. You got to kill a shark in Sharknado 2
with the
trident.
the weapon of Poseidon.
You set the bar really high. Like,
but it's the weapon, and then like, no, it's like I would have grabbed the machete or like a board or something, or like I would have had my shoe. If I was
even if it was a shoe, even if it was your fist, even if it was a sword, a gun, or whatever, you got to kill a shark in Sharknado 2.
That's very true.
Like. We might as well just shut the site down. Nothing is ever going to top that. Like,
oh my god.
So, like, that's the kind of thing you put on your tombstone. Like that's the kind of, I don't care how cynical you are. I don't care how much you dislike asylum movies or whatever. Like, that's cool.
Yeah,
like that's really cool. Like
it's pretty awesome. Yeah, you're right.
Who is going to say no to that? I don't care how cynical you are about asylum movies or the Sharknado movies or Sci-Fi Channel movies. If someone comes up to you, I don't care if you are the most pretentious dick on the face of the planet. If someone comes up to you and says, "Would you like to kill a shark in Sharknado 2?" There is not a motherfucker on this planet who would ever say no to that. Who would never.
It's so true.
Yeah, exactly. Like that is badass.
Well, see, and like you know. Like technically he survives. The guy survives because you see.
Yeah.
I'm there at the very last shot, right before that truck explodes. You see me running out of the way with my trident. So apparently he survives the whole thing.
I missed him running away.
It's just really brief in the corner. You see me running, but I think I still had my glasses on at that point too.
He's still alive.
He's still alive. He survived the Sharknado onslaught with his trident. Now see, because I was there when they were shooting on the subway.
Okay.
Because I had that brief moment where I'm on the subway, where I'm there and suddenly I just pop out, So it was kind of a similar thing. They had a unit going with the actual stuff, and they had they were shooting their occasional stuff with the B cam, and Anthony said, "Hey Ryan, pretend you see a shark." I was like, "Wait, what?" And he says, "Yeah, just pretend you see a shark. Well, I might use it as a a cutaway or something like that." And so I was like, "Okay, well." I do what I normally do when
you see a shark.
When I see a shark, because I go zoinks and run off the side. And like he said, stop. He says that's the I didn't actually yell zoinks, but that's basically what I did. And he goes, stop. That was way too cartoony. Do it serious. So I had to while they're doing something else there, he's sitting there and he's directing me to stop being so cartoony, stop being so goofy. It's it's a funny movie, but So I finally had to do the final of running away.
No, I totally get this because I'm pretty sure I've said those exact words when we made Cheap. If there's one thing right, is great. It's the cartoonish leaving a seed. It's amazing. I remember that. We shot a scene for Cheap with you and Dave, and it was Dave yells at you or something like, "Fuck you, Derek, get out of here," or something like that. And Derek Diamond's supposed to get up and walk out of the room, and it was, "Zoinks!" And of course I start laughing, and I'm pretty...
Oh, God. So that's the thing is you see that guy, he's in the subway. That's where you first see him when the sharks show up.
Yeah.
And then later he's there. He rallies with the people of New York and battles the sharks, and manages to survive this whole thing with his trident. So I think, even though that was all shot completely out of order, now looking at it as a story arc, I realize. That's a side story of Sharknado that people don't really realize is that guy bought a trident one day. And his wife was probably furious with him. Like, why the hell did you buy a trident?
That's why he's staying in a hotel.
So that's why he was in a hotel. No, so, why the hell did you buy a trident? What, God damn it, well, get another stupid waste of money. And he's like, no, someday you'll see that this was a good idea. And so everything's going to go wrong for him. And so he's on the subway, and those sharks start flooding in, and he runs, and he realizes, this is my moment. This is what I've waited for my whole life. He runs home, he grabs the trident, and he rallies with the people of New York, because why the fuck not?
You could film this. Like a 5-10 minute short. Like
that would be amazing.
Trident guy.
The true story of Trident. Yeah.
That would honestly be really funny.
That would be really, really funny. Yeah. So that's the backstory, and then cut in the pieces from the actual movie of yes, finally, I can. I told you. I told you.
The true hero of this movie.
Oh God.
I thought the movie was funny.
Yeah. So the actual review of the movie.
We haven't seen it. I mean,
I don't watch movies. No, I mean.
We don't watch Sci-Fi Channel movies.
No. Yeah. No. It was really funny. I think that, like, technically speaking, I think it was a much better made film than the first one.
I agree with that.
I mean, it seemed way more planned out.
Mm-hmm.
The first one suffered a lot from stock footage, and especially stock footage of Los Angeles, which,
It did. I mean, I wouldn't say that was, I think, for me anyway, part of the appeal of the first one, because that was kind of funny whenever that happened.
I guess, but unintentionally funny. You know what I mean? Like there was you were laughing at the mistake of, oh, well, here's another beautiful, pristine shot of Malibu that they've color corrected to look like it's supposed to be raining.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like this was way better planned out. I thought the pacing was so much better in this film.
It was paced very well. There was constantly stuff happening.
Right.
There was constantly stuff happening, and I didn't get bored when I was watching it. It wasn't one of those movies where, like, okay, say for instance, like Ninja Turtles, where really from beginning to end, it never stops. Mm-hmm. Ninja Turtles, to where it just feels like a long trailer, and you just get bored with that. This wasn't the case. Like, while there was while from beginning to end, there really was a lot of stuff happening, and there was very little downtime in the movie. I never got bored because it was usually always something different going on. Jokes would be different, or the action would be different. I mean, sharks are still crushing people and stuff like that, but I never, throughout this movie, I never got tired of seeing a shark fall on somebody.
Right, yeah.
I never got tired of that.
Then there was a whale shark at one point. I was like, yeah, all right.
I never got sick of that in this movie. And you're right about, like, because shots match each other better in this one. There's very little scenes in this where, in the first one, for instance, where, a hurricane comes through and then it's sunny in the next, or something like that. There's very little of that in this. You can certainly see that this is a bigger budgeted film. Yeah. And it very much is, and I've heard it compared to this before, and I agree. The tone of the comedy in this, it's certainly very in-jokey, like the first one was. I mean, they're both comedies, but the way that this one is, in a lot of the first one made fun of itself too, but this one really does. In a similar way that Gremlins 2 did. It's especially with a lot of cameos.
Right. I think probably the best one-line review of it I saw was, I think it was from the Huffington Post, said, Sharknado 2, the beauty of when everybody's in on the joke.
Yeah.
It's because everybody's in. It's like the filmmakers knew that, hey, this is a fun thing we're making. It's not, this is not a very serious drama about. No, it's like, hey, we're making a fun movie about sharks with a lot of cool celebrity cameos, and like that's when you went into it watching. I want to watch a fun movie about sharks falling out of nowhere with cool celebrity cameos.
Because it doesn't suffer like a lot of movies like that do. In that, okay, for instance, say you have. All right, take The Room, for instance, which is a movie that it's notoriously, hilariously bad, and then Tommy Wiseau does stuff after that where suddenly he's in on the joke, and suddenly it's not as funny anymore. This doesn't suffer from that because it's always been a concept to where they know how outlandish it is.
Exactly.
They know that that at heart, it's a comedy in the same way Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is.
Right. Yeah, that's a great comparison. Yeah, it's meant to be a fun experience. Yeah. And then you add into this whole idea of the social aspect to it. Live tweeting during the actual show itself.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was a lot of the fun. I have like 14 followers on Twitter. It's pathetic. But like, I barely bring it up. It's like, I'm like a crotchety old man with some of this stuff because I barely use Twitter.
I didn't even know you were on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter. Yeah, that's the thing. I do the tweets now.
I had no idea you were even on Twitter.
I'm doing those tweets now. I refuse to use Instagram. That confuses and angers me.
I've never used that.
Or Pinterest. Yeah, Pinterest.
I don't even know what that is.
That's something. My wife uses it.
Vine. I've never used Vine.
Yeah. See, all these things make me crotchety and angry, and I want to yell at these damn kids to get off my lawn. but no. So I got on Twitter Twitter because I was like, oh, they're going to be live tweeting during the show, and celebrities are going to get it. So if I follow the hashtags and whatnot, so I did that, and that was actually a lot of fun to see, all these celebrities and all these people live tweeting about stuff as it was actually happening. I think that social aspect was really cool. And I know that, like, Anthony, the director, was live tweeting, and he was also taking answers, doing like live Q&A. I mean, what a cool idea. Because it's a TV movie, because it's airing at a set time, and that everybody who has that kind of connection can all watch it at the same time for free. We're paying for the cable connection or whatever, but it's not like at a movie theater where you've got staggered movie times and you're not allowed to hold out your phone or anything. Technically in the movie theater. So it's a TV movie. You can do the social aspect and you can share it with friends. And what a because that's some of the most fun of watching movies that are so bad that are good, because you sit with your friends. I mean, remember when we watched The Blob?
Yeah, Blob Night.
Blob Night. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole fun of watching that movie, was getting to be with friends and laugh about it and stuff. So this idea of doing it on a much bigger scale, through social media, it's just awesome. I mean, what a unique and cool concept. It
very much geared itself towards social media, like you just said. Like, you could tell even watching the movie that it was, it recognizes the fact that the first one very much built up a popularity because of social media, and now this one, it's basically a big meme film, really.
Pretty much,
like it is, it was like. It's certainly asking people to get on Twitter and live tweet it, which a lot of people are doing, and we're making it pretty funny. And more so than that, like asylum movies in general, like trauma movies, like the Killer Tomatoes movies and stuff like that. It is a party movie. It's very much a party movie. This is the kind of movie that you get a bunch of people together, you get food, you get stuff like that, and you have a good time at it. You have a good time watching it. It's totally a group film. It absolutely is. And when asylum movies work right, they're the best at that.
Absolutely,
whether we're talking about Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock Holmes, or like I Am Omega. Some of their other stuff that this is 2 asylum movies I've watched in a row that has Vivica Fox in it.
There you go.
I watched Mercenaries last night, which you get a group of friends together and watch that, you'll probably have a good time. But I think Sharknado 2 is a better movie than Mercenaries is. But I was honestly more so rooting for Finn and Vivica Fox to get together.
It's true. Yeah, you're like, you felt, because Vivica Fox is a great actress, and it's like, I enjoyed it. She was really cool, and you could feel that connection. It's like, they actually have some good chemistry together. It's kind of cool. And then she just randomly gets ripped apart by sharks.
I actually was really sad about that.
I was too. And what's funny is that, because I was following the live tweet, is that Anthony and Thunder Levine, the guy who was the writer, both tweeted at the same time saying, "We're both really, really sorry, Vivica. We were really sad that we did."
Good.
Good. That was.
I was honestly, that was the most effective death in the movie. I was really bummed out when that happened. Son of a bitch.
That and Judd Hirsch.
Sad. Judd Hirsch was good in this. Like, there were some cameos in this that were a little questionable.
Like Billy Ray Cyrus?
He was the doctor, right?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I knew I fucking recognized him. You know where the cameos lost me? Because, the Judd Hirsch thing I like, because, it's Judd Hirsch, and
he's in a taxi.
And he's in a taxi.
Right.
Oh, okay, all right. But he was still allowed to, be a character.
Yeah.
He was still getting some good jokes in. There's a joke there that he's playing a taxi driver, but he still did feel like a character.
Right.
Honestly, same with Kelly Osbourne at the beginning of the movie. That could have been...
Robert Hayes as well.
Robert Hayes. Well, Robert Hayes was there to be like, would you like the fish or chicken?
That's right, yeah.
And then I was like, okay, all right. But,
they had to say something.
Yeah.
They gotta say, can't have somebody come in and say, we're all counting on you, good luck. That's just 2 on the nose. So they had to do
stock footage.
So Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah. Kelly Osbourne shows up, but she's got some lines. She's actually playing a character and doing some stuff on there.
She wasn't terrible.
The one that totally lost me was Jared Fogle.
Oh God. Oh man. Boy, that smacked of here's product placement. Let's shove this down everybody's throat.
It totally. I was like, man, when Jared Fogle shows up in the movie to seriously sit there on the subway and go, well, you should have been eating fresh. Fuck.
Right, yeah.
Any minute now, the spicy meatball guy is gonna walk on screen and put some hot sauce on a shark.
Right.
It was funny seeing. it was funny seeing Matt Lauer and Al Roker. The reason why I was laughing at some of that, because like when Al Roker and Matt Lauer first showed up to talk about the Sharknado and stuff like that, at first I wasn't totally into it. At first it was kind of like, the analogy I kind of came up with was, it's like being at a school dance and seeing the chaperones start dancing.
Oh,
like,
sure, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
But when I started kind of laughing at that was just because we've all seen Matt Lauer report on horrific things happening, like disasters, attacks, stuff like that. And it was funny imagining him being this blasé if, like, say, like, picturing, like, his coverage of 9/11 in your head.
Oh, God.
And picturing him, like, being... Because he's actually quite good in this movie.
Right, yeah.
But, like... Picture, like, let's say, like, it's his coverage of September 11th, and then his coverage ends with, "This is a sad day, and now back to our regularly scheduled program." Like, I was picturing that in my head, and this dark image was, like, kind of making me laugh.
That's funny. What's funny about it is like, I saw, like, because, I follow Asylum and I follow Anthony and whatnot, and they posted pictures when they shot that. And I was like, oh, cool, they're going to do like a little cameo, like a one-time thing. And so like when I saw them at first, I was like, oh, so that's it. No, they're in it a lot.
Quite a bit.
They're in it a lot.
They're in it more than I thought they were going to be.
Like, they're almost like a thread through the whole movie. Like you're following them as they're reporting on.
He's quite good in this.
They're good, yeah.
Yeah, he really is, because he's...
They sell it. I mean, they could have been just like kind of laughing and doing it tons of
They really didn't.
But like they sold it, They actually like sold. This is like, the Hurricane Sandy coverage, again.
Yeah, I'm a little more blasé about. They were doing good at reading it as if the Statue of Liberty wasn't just destroyed, and things like that. But like they were reading it as if they would like maybe a B story or something like that.
True.
But they weren't winking at the camera.
No,
they weren't. I mean,
they were still.
Other than here a couple of times, but by and large, no. Like when he kind of scoffs at the word Sharknado, there was that, but that's just like one part. But for the most part, no. He's kind of reading it as if it is this news story that he's reading, and I enjoyed that. As I was watching this, and there's a couple of reasons. Things about this that are my favorite parts about it. One, I like that movies that like this, and like the first one, and like some other Asylum movies, I like that they just make movie cynics want to jump off a cliff. It makes them so mad. Right. As if these movies invented, like, the ironic disaster movie, or like the kind of in-jokey disaster movie, like your trauma movies, like your Killer Tomatoes movies, stuff like that. As if these movies invented that, It makes them so mad. Like, I have actually heard people say that the first Sharknado movie is like the ruination of the B movie or something like that. It's insane. There is always going to be B movies. There is always going to be shark movies that play it straighter than Sharknado does. Yeah. That's like saying that, like, Gremlins 2 ruined the Little Creature movie. It didn't. Like, there are still movies afterwards that...
Yeah. No, you're right. I see, what's so interesting is that I read a bunch of reviews the first few days after it came out, and you could tell the different, like, professional critics who either got it and were like, it was dumb, but it was enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
But then there were the other ones, and I think like the LA Times was one that just ripped it apart, and it's like, really? Like, why are you ripping it apart? Like, at what point were the filmmakers like, this is the most beautiful, serious thing ever made? No, it's a funny movie, and it's meant to be, is it meant to be perfect? No, it's meant to be funny.
It's meant to, it's meant to be entertaining. It is, at its heart, these movies are comedies, so if it doesn't work for you, then it works because you don't find it funny.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You don't get the joke. And you're like, well, I think it's very absurd for sure, sharks to be around. Okay, sure, okay, fine. If you're gonna say, okay, well, I think that's, well, then don't watch the movie.
Then you have no business watching Sharknado. You really don't.
Like, where's the science in this? turn off the TV.
That's why when we did the critic episode of the first Sharknado, we had cutaways to us playing the Mythbusters guys. If you could drop a bomb in a fucking tornado and shit.
Right, yeah.
Like, if you watch, a negative review for this movie would seem to me to be like, you just simply don't find it funny. Which comedy's subjective. If you don't find it funny, okay.
Right.
I did. Like, there were parts that, even like, as silly as it got, there was barely a moment in this movie where I wasn't smiling.
Right.
You know? Like, even if I wasn't laughing out loud at something that was happening, like, there were a couple times when I rolled my eyes, like the Jared Fogle thing and stuff like that. But, like, but I was constantly smiling throughout a lot of it because again, it's like I said at the beginning of this, there is just something about seeing a shark falling from the sky and landing on people. I don't know, like, it just so worked for me. But you know what else it is? What really carries this movie is Ian Ziering.
Yeah.
By far and away does he carry this, because Ian Ziering, like, okay, he has some jokes here and there, but he plays it straight.
He plays a straight, and he plays a straight action hero.
Yes.
And he's
so good at it.
He is good. Yeah, he's really good at it, and he sells it. You know, and like, you know, that's what's, you know, you're saying. If it had been just kind of, you know, we're all kind of B actor, you know, not B D-list, you know, Z-list actors. Whatever, man, just, you know, tell me what the line is, I'll just move on, and I'll take my paycheck and then leave. No, he's like, I want to commit to this, and I want to do a good job, and he did a good job, and it sold the first one, and he does it again in the second one.
It completely sells the second one. It absolutely sells
like the whole like ending sequence where he's flying around in the tornado and has the chainsaw, and just like, you know, the intensity of him as he's, you know, flying through that shark with the chainsaw. I mean,
even when they do give him a one-liner, he still sells that too. It doesn't feel out of character. Like when they give him his chainsaw at the end, and he says "sweet," like he delivered that. Like, there's no way I can mimic how he did it in this movie, but he really. Not even the guys in Dude, Where's My Car sold the word "sweet" as well as he did in this movie. Like he's in fact, these movies, the first one and the second one, especially with Ian Ziering, honestly play this material more straight than movies like this usually do, than a Troma movie does. They play this way more straight than you see in like a Troma. They play this way more straight than in like a Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
I think that's, you know, because that might be just from how the Asylum just wanted to push it. Like maybe the Asylum producers were saying, no, this needs to be played straight. So that's the kind of tone they got. Well,
I mean, in terms of the actors, like the actor. When I say play it straight, I'm talking about the act. I'm talking about Ian Ziering, not the
feel the tone overall. Okay,
no.
Okay, well, no, okay, I know what you mean. But yeah, no, he does. Yeah, he definitely plays it very straight, which I think it has to be.
That's what's funny,
right? That is what makes it funny, is because he sells it. He really sells it. I mean, if he was doing a wink and a nod and you know, silly things, I don't know, it really draw you out.
He's a guy. This character that he plays is, you could picture in a more straightforward action film than this, and he just happens to be in a movie about tornadoes and sharks. Like
it seemed to follow him.
Yeah. So the tone of the movie, like the action in it, is very goofy. It's very over the top. I mean, whether sharks are getting sawed in half, whether they're burning and stuff like that, it's definitely like a cartoon on screen.
Right.
But the characters in it, especially him, are that, to me anyway, that makes it, even though there are movies that I like where even the actors are playing it over the top, because one of my favorite movies is The Toxic Avenger. Certain times I do like stuff like it, but I also appreciate stuff like this, like when he's on the airplane at the beginning of the movie, and Tara Reid has written a book about how to survive a Sharknado,
which is actually available. By the way.
I noticed that they popped up that during the movie, and so the stewardess says, she says, Tara Reid says to Ian Ziering, like why aren't you happier about this? Why aren't you having a good time? And he says, like, well, I mean, 2 of my friends died. Like, I'm sort of like, right. You know, yeah, like, okay, here's like a real guy who's like in this really silly situation, and he plays it, he really sells it. Yeah. He's good. Mm-hmm. He does not sleepwalk through this movie.
No, not at all.
So many people would have sleptwalked through this. Yeah. He doesn't. He plays this as if he is totally in this A-list mainstream action movie, right. And as I'm watching it, he could. Like, he really could be in a blockbuster action film.
Totally could.
He is that good in this movie.
He is good, yeah. He's a really, he's also apparently a really, really awesome guy. You know,
did you get to meet him at all?
Not really, no. Yeah. I mean, like, no, he's a, you know, the people I've talked to have said he's just a really genuinely nice, really cool guy. So it's like, you know, I hope that, you know, in addition to doing maybe more Sharknado movies, which they've already got a 3rd one on the docket, who knows if he's going to be in it or not.
Yeah.
But I hope he gets more work. Like,
I do too.
Because he, you know, to be an actually genuinely really cool guy and to take what should have been, I mean, really should have been a stupid, silly thing that you watch once and go, God, that was terrible, and then move on with your life.
Yeah.
That's what it should have been. That's kind of what, you know, they figured it would be. But no, because of things like him and, you know, the direction.
Yeah.
It turned into something so great. I want to see him get, you know, real awesome work. Like, get in a blockbuster movie, get in something cool, and remind people that he's actually really damn good.
Yeah,
you know?
quite good. Like, he's in shape. He did the action scenes very, very well.
Yeah.
He was there was rarely a point in the movie where he like totally breaks the 4th wall or anything like that. There really wasn't. He was totally on action movie mode in this, and he was very charismatic. Yeah. He's got a good voice for this kind of character. He's built for this kind of character. He looks like a California dude who's in New York, you know, doing this, and he was incredibly competent in these action sequences. Whether we're talking about him like playing Frogger over sharks in the middle of the in the street, or at the pizzeria when he hits a shark with the pizza scoop
into the
oven. He sells that as if he is the same in those scenes as if he would be if this were like a straightforward like Seagal action movie. You know, he does these scenes as if it is like a straightforward action sequence, and that, for me anyway, helps this movie. It gives me a character that is worth following throughout all of this.
And that's you want to see him succeed. You want to see what he's gonna do next.
Yeah,
ride a shark onto the spire of the Empire State Building.
Yeah, you know? He is riding a shark like it's a rodeo onto the antenna of the Empire State Building.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And speaking of which, did you know there's a Sharknado game?
No.
There's an app. There's a Sharknado app. And I will do my best to bring this up and see if it shows up on our little camera here. But there it is. Sharknado, the video game. It's available.
That is awesome.
But no, it's kind of amazing because the whole premise of the game is it's just it's like Temple Run. You know what I mean? Like you're just running in a straight line, trying to. You know, I will literally play this game in front of your camera. say you're just. There's the Sharknado. And so there you go. Yeah, you're running. I'm doing this reverse, so I'm probably going to hit a shark right away. So you see the sharks? And so you just run around.
Get your trident, dude. Get your fucking trident.
He doesn't have a trident. Only I have the trident. No, that's a bus.
Finn, you were just hit by a bus.
So no, but yes, that's available now. But you know, so yeah, but no, I was doing that backwards. But like you run through the streets, you know, running like back and forth, and then the next part is you get on a surfboard, and you're running back and forth on the surfboard, and then the final stage is you're riding the shark with the chainsaw, and so you have to maneuver back and forth and cut your way through the sharks. So
this movie's really silly.
This is very silly. This is serious stuff, man. It could totally happen.
Internet, serious business.
This internet.
I think the weirdest part in this movie for me was the cameo by Paul from Spin City. Richard Kind, is that his name?
Yes.
The Richard Kind cameo. It almost seems like just this other movie happened.
It was bizarrely shoehorned in, and I wonder if like. You know what's funny about that is you know, the first one happens, all these celebrities tweet about it.
Yeah.
And my guess is that when they said, let's do a second one, they probably just got flooded by so many people saying,
I figured.
put me in this movie. And somehow they're like, we've got Richard Kind, he's going to show up on set tomorrow, give him a story,
But that was, because the Jared Fogle one was, like, weird for me in, like, a bad way.
Right.
This one, I don't know if this was weird for me in a bad way. It was just odd, because all of a sudden this other movie happens.
Right, it's very sad, I struck out before my father.
What is going on here?
Yeah, and it's like, it was just a long build-up for him hitting a shark and having it crash into the wall with
What the
with
fuck?
the little home run apple that pops up at the end.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens at Citi Field is when they hit a home run, the little apple pops up. So that's the whole joke of that whole thing. But yeah, it was kind of a...
This guy has this total arc in this movie, and he's in it for 2 minutes.
Right.
It was like Travis Crabtree from fucking Legend of Boggy Creek.
Oh, right, his own song.
Like 2 minutes and has his own storyline. That was kind of the case with this. And it was... Whenever I liked him on Spin City, but usually when I see Richard Kind in something, he's always playing it really over the top, no matter what kind of role he's in, whether it's like Scrubs or something else. In this, he really didn't.
No,
he was actually pretty subdued in this.
Yeah, he was pretty, played pretty straight. I struck out, I was disappointed in my pops, and, then gets the straight.
What the fuck?
Yeah, just, okay.
I would recommend this if it's the kind of movie that you like. Because I was in it and I was posting it on Facebook. A lot of people that I know who I know would never watch this kind of movie watched it just because they're like, oh, Ryan's in it for like a second, he'll probably show up and get eaten by a shark, which is probably what most people thought. But no, they watched it and then all of them reported back to me and said, yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. It was goofy. It was not the type of movie I'd normally watch, but I really liked it. My mom loves these movies.
Yeah.
She tweets me all the time about Asylum movies that she's watching. She loves the Asylum movies. And I do too. I do too. Like, of course there's some that just do not work at all. But this one, the Asylum works. The Asylum is at their best, like we said in the Riff Tracks video. The Asylum is at their best when they're having fun.
Right.
When they're having fun. No matter what the tone is.
Exactly,
the tone could be totally serious, which actually a lot of people get wrong about the Asylum. There's actually more Asylum movies that play it straight than there are ones that don't.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's whether or not they're having fun. I mean, it could be played totally straight. But if there's some love going on there, if there's some ambition or something like that, then it'll work. Whether it's a straight up horror film, a straight up Western, or something like that. And then in the case of this, it is totally a cartoon. That is absolutely a cartoon, but it's entertaining and it's funny. And so yeah, it is a comedy, so that it succeeds at that because I did laugh. I did laugh. So if you like this kind of movie, if you're a fan of the Asylum, if you really dig movies, if you like the first one, and you like stuff like Ghost Shark and stuff like that, then yeah, you'll have fun at this movie. If you don't,
if you really that just sounds stupid, then yeah, you know what, you're right. I mean, it is stupid, but that's the point. That's the point. It's fun, stupid, and that's that's. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to watch something stupid, then don't watch it. Also, why are you on this site? Did your son leave this on and you're very confused right now? You're wondering where the CNN is, or the Asylum Fox News.
The Asylum is very.
An email.
I probably will too. I know exactly who the commenters are going to be who mentioned that. The Asylum is even to people who like exploitation and who like horror, the Asylum is very polarizing.
Yeah.
They are, and look, I'll admit that there's some that don't work, like Alien Origin, Gacy House. I could think of plenty that don't work, but I mean, you'll have that with any fucking, especially a company that deals in B movies. Yeah,
they churn out what? 10, 11 movies a year?
Oh, God, at the least.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
at the total least.
Law of averages alone, I mean,
But when these movies work, I really enjoy them, and this movie worked for me. But if you are in the camp that just does not like, you just hate the idea of the mockbuster or the CGI exploitation action film, stuff like this, you're not. This movie is not going to...
No, the focus is going crazy.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm still a camera guy. I still focus.
I'm glad you noticed that. I had my glasses off. then this movie isn't going to change your mind.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's not going to change your mind on this kind of thing. But I would think that if you like the first one, you would probably like this.
It's the first one, only done with a little bit more planning. You know what I mean? You know, so I'd say that's kind of a little bit more plan on where they're going to go on a few things, and so yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a teeny bit biased, but you know, I greatly enjoyed this film. So I look forward to what can be done with a third. Yeah, because you know, seeing how they, because you know, the whole idea of how are you going to beat him sawing his way out of a shark in the first movie, which I think they pretty well topped with kind of the outrageous factor. You know, him riding a shark to the spire of the Empire State. That kind of upped the ante. So the idea is
her hand still in the shark's mouth at the end,
which apparently it grew quite a bit.
Yes, but I laughed my ass off at that. And again, a scene that Ian Ziering plays straight.
And he takes the ring off and then proposes to her. Yeah, he totally plays it straight. Yeah, totally awesome. No, but you know, I look forward to seeing, like, okay, all right. So you up the ante for 2. How are you going to do it for 3?
Yeah, do it in 3D. I'm telling you. Yeah. 3D Sharknado.
Oh, man.
Hell yeah. Old school red, blue 3D, man. Sell that shit at, like, McDonald's or something. I am totally cool with the third Sharknado movie.
They're making it. I mean, you know.
I would... My only thing would be, like, I'd like to see the cameos toned down a lot.
But, you know they're gonna up it up.
Yeah,
I mean,
they will.
It's gonna be all cameos. I mean, if anything, that's probably gonna cripple and destroy it. Is it's gonna be nothing but cameos.
Probably.
So you know.
Probably progressive flow will be in there.
Right. If my friend Anthony is directing the third one, I would hope that he would maybe not do that, but at the same time, you know, he's, you know, I don't think he's signed to do it yet. I mean, all they said that they want to do it.
Yeah,
he hasn't signed on to do it. I don't know if anybody's signed on to do it.
Well, this did even better than the first one, didn't it?
Absolutely, it did.
Yeah.
The first one only pulled in like a 1.5 rating for its first airing, which was very, very unimpressive and was very surprising because, of course, it had the huge Twitter presence, which is what everybody reported on. So this time around, it had a 3.9 million viewers, which I'm pretty sure won the night for even like primetime stuff. It beat out like So You Think You Can Dance and other things on like network shows. And it actually had more Twitter impressions too than the first one did. So I mean, you know, much bigger success.
And that's would probably be the equivalent of what, maybe, like, let's say in terms of box office, like a $40 million opening weekend, something like that.
Sounds, I mean,
which for a movie like this is good.
Yeah, I mean, that's, well, no, for a movie that I think its budget was only like maybe, what, 2 million, 3 million, something like that? You know, for a 40 million, that's raking in some pretty good money. You know?
And this looked, by far and away, did this look like the most expensive Asylum movie I've ever seen.
It did. I mean, it looked really good. You know, I mean, I think they had some really cool shots, and they, you know, they shot on location in New York, actually in Times Square and stuff like that. So
there's effects work in this. There's effects because it's all cartoonish effects work and stuff like that. But there are effects work in this, and even in terms of just in terms of editing, in terms of how the action is shot, in terms of how the action is choreographed,
right,
is phenomenally better than Expendables 3.
yeah.
Like, I could tell what was going on in this movie, and this movie had blood. Oh wait, that's another. Oh no, 4 minutes left.
4 minutes.
Okay, real quick. We were planning on seeing this in the theater. We didn't see this in the theater. They're actually showing a theatrical screening of this tomorrow, and we were going to do it then, which is why it took me so long to see it, because I wanted to wait till I could see it in the theater. Right. But they put it out when Jake and I are going to be at Wizard World, so I couldn't. So I watched it today, and we're doing this Wednesday night. But on AMC, it had it listed as a PG-13. This movie is not a PG-13.
It's not a PG-13.
This movie is not a PG-13. There are limbs getting cut off that it lingers on. There's like half-eaten faces.
Yeah.
This movie's so not a PG-13.
So you know, you mentioned that it's going to be in theaters, and what I want to do is I want to go to the theater by myself and sit there and wait till my scene comes on, and then just stand up and go, and then watch as everybody goes, shut up, sit down.
Set up a table in the lobby with still shots.
And be like,
Mommy, it's Trident guy.
Don't look at him. Keep walking.
Just ignore the nice man.
Just ignore him. Sorry, at desk. All right, so we got 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right.
Well, I pretty much given my final thoughts on it.
My final thoughts on it as well. It's it's a lot of fun. Totally worth seeing.
You done good, my friend.
Damn right I did. I can now retire from films
Yes.
because I was a background actor in a TV movie who had a unique Bronze Era weapon.
Not just a TV movie. You killed a shark in Sharknado too.
I did.
Like that is amazing. Like you need T-shirts that say that. You need hats that say that. That is only so many people can say that, and you can.
Very true. It's very true.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that.
All
That is really badass. We're gonna be gone all weekend, but I know that like Sin City 2 is coming out and something else. I can't remember what, but we'll be back on Monday seeing movies that we missed and shit like that. So, Sharknado 2.
Woo!
Bye.